And like, what was the thought process? Hey, Morbius was terrible. Let's get those same writers and have them write Madame Webb. It'll be better the next time. Out of all the things that I'm disappointed with Madame Webb and with Sony, I think the most disappointment I have is with myself for allowing myself to have hope for this movie and Sony. The worst part is, I'm being genuine. This movie had the potential to be a game changer for Sony. Unfortunately, it kind of is in a really bad way. In a way that I don't think Sony could kind of recover from this. I actually think this movie is going to be kind of the end for a lot of people watching the Sony Spider-Man universe, if you even want to call it that at this point in time. I think this is going to be the end of the road for a lot of people. This movie, sadly, is only going to be remembered for it being bad. It is essentially going to be Morbius. Now, there's mixed reviews right now on whether or not people think it's worse than Morbius, the same, or just a tiny bit better. They're the same to me. I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised because I expected this. But this movie could have really been such a big deal to Sony if they embraced their Spider-Verse, if they embraced the multiverse with inside their Spider-Man universes, connected it to the animated series, connected it to a different Spider-Man, brought it all home, had it build up to something fantastic. Like, it could have been a game changer. It could have let us know that, hey, we do have a plan. Sony has a plan. They are connecting stuff. They aren't just making movies to make them, because that's what it seems like at this point. It seems like due to their contract of owning all of these characters, they're just busting out movies to make sure they maintain the rights to these characters. But instead of this movie being a game changer for Sony, it was just bad. It was. I'm sorry. It was just bad. And this isn't going to be a spoiler review for Madame Webb. And I really just want to talk about the state of Sony, because if you're watching this, you probably have seen a lot of reviews that say the movie's bad. And, you know, it is. Sadly enough, it's a bad movie. I genuinely hope some people enjoy it. And if you enjoyed it, I'm happy for you. Let's accept the fact that people have different opinions, and we should be happy for people who enjoyed this movie and sad for people like me who didn't enjoy the movie, right? But, you know, it doesn't make people wrong. So have your own opinion. Go see the movie. Don't let anybody else's opinion dissuade you from seeing the movie. Here's the thing about Madame Webb is, like, I genuinely believe that the cast tried. I genuinely believe that they gave it their all and they tried to make a good movie. It's honestly not their fault. The writing is terrible. And like, what was the thought process? Hey, Morbius was terrible. Let's get those same writers and have them write Madame Webb. It'll be better the next time. You had like the worst movie ever. Maybe not ever. Morbius, I guess it's entertaining in the fact that it was so bad. And the same thing goes for Madame Webb, but it was a bad movie. So they decided to have the same writers write another movie for them in the same universe that already isn't doing very good. Like, what was the thought process there, Sony? So I believe the actors did try, and unfortunately the writing just wasn't there. And it's not the actors' fault. The writing is so bad. There's even talks now that like the actors tried to improv. Sony said no, stick to the exact script, which was terrible, which was rewritten a bunch. And like at some point in time, I swear, you'd be watching Ezekiel and his mouth would move, but the words that you heard were voiced over and were not the same thing, whatever he said on screen. I think they changed the script after they shot some scenes and they just did voiceovers for it. They didn't even like bother to go in and reshoot. They're like, you know what? This movie's not going to make money. Let's not waste any more money reshooting it. Let's just do voiceovers. I genuinely believe that is what happened. But overall, this, I think, is going to be a movie that Sony can't really recover from. Unless Venom 3 is so amazing and they're going to have like Spider-Man come in it and they're actually going to present a plan for the Spider-Verse, I'm not sure people are really going to have any faith in the Spider-Verse, the live action Spider-Verse that doesn't have Spider-Man in it with Sony anymore. They're going to lose all faith after this. So when I said it could be a game changer, and it kind of is, it's a game changer in the fact that I think people are done now. I think that's going to happen for a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm holding out faith for Venom. I don't know if I should, but the other two Venom movies weren't that bad. I really love Tom Hardy. Let's see what Venom 3 has to offer. Let's see if Spider-Man is going to come in, although I really have doubts. I really, really have doubts, and they should have stuck to the plan of bringing a Spider-Man into Madame Webb. It would have at least drove more sales for the movie, because I don't think it's going to do very well at the box office. Here's what Sony should actually do. They should sell all the characters back to Marvel, or make a contract that Marvel can use all of the characters in the MCU. They should get rid of the Sony Spider-Verse, whatever they're doing. Take a percentage, take a cut of the characters being used in the movies in the MCU. They would genuinely make more money that way. They really would, because these movies aren't going to do good. I don't have a lot of faith in Kraven at this point in time. I really do think Venom is going to be the only saving grace, and I think Venom's going to have to show us like a glimpse of hope for the entire universe, not just Venom 3 being a good movie itself. They need to show us that the state of that universe is going to be okay, which I don't think they're going to show us. Sony should legit make a deal with Marvel Studios like they did with Spider-Man. Let all these characters be in the MCU and they could take a cut. They would probably make more money. They really would, because these movies aren't going to make that much money. Outside of Venom and maybe a new Spider-Man movie that they do, which they probably won't, they're not going to make any money. So I thought Sony was building up to a big multiversal film with Madame Webb, because in the comics, she travels throughout the multiverse. That did not happen in this movie. It should have. And that was the hope that I was holding on to, that they actually did have a plan. They don't, which is crazy. I honestly think their biggest problem was thinking that people are really going to care about these Spider-Man characters without Spider-Man. Spider-Man's what makes them appealing, outside of Venom, which is itself linked to Spider-Man originally in the comics and kind of a Spider-Man-ish entity. But really, I think this is just a reflection on the state of Sony right now. I think they're really disconnected with the fans and what they want to see. Again, I think they put too much faith in these characters who exist in some universe with Spider-Man, thinking that just because they have that connection, people will go and watch, even without Spider-Man. I think that was a big miss on their part. Overall, Madame Webb wasn't a good movie, and I think it's gonna really be a letdown for a lot of people as far as the state of the Sony live-action Spider-Verse is concerned. So, have you seen it? If you have, let me know what you think. And after seeing this and hearing other people's reviews, if you haven't seen it, are you going to see it? Let me know in the comments down below, and please be sure to subscribe to the channel. A lot more content coming out soon, and I will catch you all in the next video.